Hello friends, welcome to Study on Fingertips. Let's begin this session.
With this video, I am going to start Indian society in the channel. This is very much useful for all those students who are giving UPSC civil services. Apart from exams, this is a very much interesting subject where a normal people can watch it with enthusiasm and try to know how the society around them is functioning. So basically, I would like to say that this topic is a very general topic and is very much interesting to everyone if you want to keenly observe your society. Without wasting time, let me begin the session. First of all, we have been listening the word society in and around daily. What is society and how various professors and famous personalities described society? Society is a system of relationships. What kind of relationships are those? These exist between individuals or groups or between an individual and a group. That is, simply system of all kinds of relationships is said to be a society. This was said by Professor Wright. Then, what do you think? Only the relationships between different groups is society, or more is needed for any society to be successful or to coexist? In fact, there are many other things which affect societal relationships. According to McClever, he says that society is a web of social relationship which is always changing. That means society as a group keeps on changing. This change might be positive, negative, forward, stagnant, anything but a change. Society keeps on changing from time to time. This change in social relationships together is known as a society according to McClever. Then according to Wallerstein, he gives a bigger picture of the definition for society. He says that society is the only concept which is very wide compared to all other modern social sciences. No other concept is as pervasive as society as a subject. He says that society is reflective and is automatically evolving. This is according to Wallerstein. Coming to characteristics of society. What are the characteristics of society? The very first characteristic is society is abstract. What do you mean by abstract? We know that there is an evolved marriage institution in the Hinduism. As of now also, we follow certain customs in the marriage. But we can't see them actually as a thing, we can't see them. It is not a physical thing, but it has been evolved since ages. That means society is abstract. What I mean by abstract is there are many customs which we can't see, but we still follow. Like same Gotra marriages are even today prohibited. These are a set of customs. And society involves both likeness and differences. That means for any group of people to exist together, both differences and likeness helps. Let me give you an example. How likeness helps is, for example, consider a rural society where almost 80% of people depend upon agriculture and all their profession is same. But still, there is a good societal relationships among them. Why? Because they are doing same thing. So they cooperate among each other. They work together. So I can say that likeness in their role in society may help them to exist with more cooperation. Likewise, differences will also help for a society to evolve. How? Let me tell. If for suppose, I am a teacher, I exist in the society with so many cordial relations because my other functions need the help of other group of people. For suppose, if I want to have an haircut, I need to go to a salon. There, I will have a relationship between different groups of people. Depending upon the necessity and requirements, basically relationships in the society exist. That may be on likeness, on differences. And the next thing is, there is always cooperation and conflict in the society. You are very much clear about the word cooperation. That is, they coexist depending upon their necessities. And conflicts also make a society to move forward. Conflict doesn't only mean always negative. Let me give you an example. There was sati practice previously in the society. After a certain conflict, we came out of sati. Now, can we say that this conflict is negative and it is not worth? No, it's absolutely wrong. That is why I'm saying conflict can be both positive and negative. In fact, if we observe history of many societies, conflicts are in many ways push the society to move forward. And coming to the next characteristics of society is always a process but not a product. What I mean by not a product is, society is always in a process. It keeps on evolving in one or the other thing, but it is never an end product. Society provides a system of stratifications, like we have various caste, various class, various religions. Like society is stratified into different groups of people, but yet we coexist. That means society has so many kinds, so many systems of stratifications existing. Coming to what is the basis of any society, here I'll be speaking mainly with respect to Indian social system. What is the main basis of Indian social system since ancient times? I will say that there is no single thing which is a strong base of social system. There are many systems which formed a concrete base to Indian social systems, like Purushartha, Ashrama, Rina, Karma, caste, family. I'll explain all these words briefly. But you are somewhere here in between all this, where every human being has all these relationships coexisting at same time. It is not like when you're following your karma, your caste has no role to play. That is not going to work out. In a society, any individual will always have all these overlapping social systems imposed upon him. Let me briefly explain what are those. First, coming to Purushartha. What is Purushartha? If I want to tell in simpler words, I will tell that Purushartha is setting of goals. In detail, if we see, for every human being, according to ancient Hinduism beliefs, Purushartha says that every human being has certain goals, and these goals are to be attained by following all these four. Let me tell what are these four. They are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is Dharma? Dharma is duties to all groups of people, like to women, to men, to children, to elder ones, everyone. Everyone has certain duty in the society, and they should follow this duty in order to attain their goals. Coming to Artha, many of us feel that Artha only deals with wealth, but it is not. It is basically gaining of wealth and power in a proper mean. That means you should not steal some other person and gain wealth. Is it correct? No. Artha speaks of that you have certain pathways to gain wealth as well as gain power. These means by which you gain wealth and power should be positive and should be correct. That is what Artha is. Coming to Kama, this is most misunderstood word by the present day. Kama doesn't speak only about the sexual desire or pleasure. It speaks about satisfying senses. Here I mean senses means all senses. You need to balance all these pleasures, like you need to balance your sexual pleasure, your societal pleasures, your work profile, your day-to-day activities. Everything should be balanced. That is what Kama speaks about. Coming to Moksha. Moksha is simply salvation. That is enlightenment. In simpler words, if I need to tell what is moksha, I would give an example of river flowing into an ocean. Why I have given this example? Once the river enters into ocean, it loses its characteristics. For suppose these are river water. Once they entered into ocean, no one is going to separately recognize this water as river water. It completely becomes ocean. Moksha is also like that. One should leave everything behind and get enlightened. That is moksha. For every human being, he need to have all these four goals. This is what Purushartha speaks about. Coming to ashrama. Ashrama basically differentiates the different roles of any human being in the society depending upon his age. Like up to 25 years of age, you are in Brahmacharya. Any child enters into this phase after Upanayana ceremony. You all know that Upanaya is threading ceremony. In present day society, only Brahmins do this. But in past history, there were every group following Upanayana, and there was also time where only Brahmins were following. Up to 25 years of age, a human being is expected to be in Brahmacharya phase. In Brahmacharya phase, his duty was to read, to gain more and more knowledge, to gain as much as possible knowledge. Up to 50, that is from 25 to 50 years, it is Grihastha. Human being is expected to start his family. How anyone enters into Grihastha phase? By Vivaha ritual. After marriage, they lead their own family, their children. Coming to 50 to 75 years of age, it is basically Vanaprastha. That means you should be ready to leave everything and go to forest in order to meditate. This is basically preparatory stage for sannyasa. At Vanaprastha, you can even go along with your soulmate. That is, a wife and husband together can enter into Vanaprastha. That means they can leave their children, they can leave their home and go to forest, where they are preparing to enter into sannyasa. Basically, they meditate here. In this stage, all sexual desires should be stopped and they should be ready to give up everything. Coming to 75 years to 100 years, it is sannyasa, where you meditate and try to gain enlightenment, leaving everything that is past life behind and get moksha in that phase. Coming to karma, this is most used words even today. Karma is basically your actions are reflected towards you. For suppose this man is pushing dominoes. I'm quite bad at drawing, don't be shocked at it. For suppose he is pushing this. You know that this block is going to hit him back like this. That is karma. Whatever you do, that will be reflected towards you. People had this belief system in order to make any human being had certain fear in their day-to-day life, so that they will be doing only good things. In order, they will be expecting good things to them. What is Rina? Rina is debt. We are by birth debt to many people in this world, and we need to fulfill all those. The very first person whom we have to clear our debt is Deva, that is God. How we can return our debt back to God is by performing puja, by performing rituals, by chanting and many other. Who is the second person that we need to clear our debt is Risha, that is teacher. Why we are very much indebted to teacher is he is the one who is responsible for all our knowledge. He is the torch bearer for our life. And the third person is Pitra. Again, don't see this society is masculine, there is no Mata, only Pitra, because society was patriarchal, so they have said that it is Pitra. These are age-old practices, so you can see that ancient society was patrilinear, that is, male was the dominant person. So we had to clear our debt to father. Coming to fourth person, he is Atithi, guest. Why they have said you have to treat good to your guest is, in a society, we are always interdependent. We need some things from the other. So if you say that you are indebted to Atithi, getting a good response in the society. Coming to caste system, we know that we had fourfold caste system, that is Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. We all know that Brahmins had certain set of rules, certain set of duties to perform. Kshatriyas have other set like this. They have segregated functions of society in between these four social caste systems. We also had untouchables known as Dalits, which are out of this fourfold caste system. We will be studying in detail about caste system and duties of each caste in detail in coming videos. Now, what is the purpose of all these segregations? We have seen that society has Purushartha, Ashrama, Karma, Rina, everything. But what is the main purpose of this? In modern world, if we see, We have democratic rules, we have organized government, everything we have certain set of rules. But what is the purpose of setting all these rules? Like, we have set the values, we have set the goals, we have set the roles, everything was defined. But what is the purpose of defining all this? Now, government is there to take care of societal uprisings or societal conflicts. In ancient days, though there was king, he was looking at only external things. So, society has set up all these in order to bring change internally. Even today we can see all these systems have roots in today's life. Today we are able to see caste system. Even today we follow all those purusharthas and all, along with modern systems. All these ensure a harmonious social existence. This was their basic purpose, to set all these rules. With all these rules, society was cooperative among themselves. Like this, there were bases of Indian society laid in our history. We will further see how this evolved as modern ages have come and how changes occurred to this. I have not explained detailedly about joint family. This everyone know, because in joint family every person has certain role. Your father has a role, your grandfather has a role, your mother has a role. Like, different roles in a family are also explained. This is very simple, so I skipped this. In the next videos, we'll see how all this changed as age passed. Thank you.
That's all in this session. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Don't forget to ring the bell icon so that you will be up to date with our channel. Thank you.